People think age gaps are measured in years. They are not. Sometimes the distance between two people is one train ticket, one suitcase, one unopened conversation. Milo was 19. Green hair, black hoodie, boots that had been kicked against too many walls. He had been asked to leave 2 schools, 3 jobs, and 1 family gathering. People looked at him and thought they understood the story. Trouble, noise, bad decisions. Then they looked at Rhea, 34, leather jacket, black eyeliner, band shirts. A woman who, according to some invisible public schedule, should have started calming down. People never said much. They just arranged their faces. Rhea knew that pause after someone asked if she had children. No, she would say. Then she would let the silence do the rest. Milo loved that about her. He loved that she never apologised for existing incorrectly. They met after a concert. Milo was arguing with a security guard about a missing jacket. Rhea walked past, handed him the jacket and said,
"You argue too much for someone who is wrong."
That was the beginning. For 2 months they travelled together. Cheap trains, friends' sofas, strange cities, loud music, cheap beer, morning buses that smelled of wet jackets and old coffee. People assumed Rhea led and Milo followed. That was the first mistake. Rhea simply moved. If she heard about a band in another city, she went. Milo followed because he wanted to. At first, the first time they slept on someone's floor, it felt like freedom. As the 20th time, it felt different. Punk rock had many songs about rebellion. It had fewer songs about wanting a decent mattress, and someone who came back when they said they would. Milo never said that aloud. That evening they stood in line outside another concert. The queue barely moved. Someone smoked behind them. Someone argued about tickets ahead of them. Bass notes leaked through the walls. Milo was going to ask Rhea to stay. Not forever. Just for winter. A friend knew about a small apartment above a closed bakery. Nothing special. But it had a window. It had a key. It could become home. Rhea already knew where she would go next. A friend in Prague had offered her a couch. There were a few festivals, old friends, and a half-finished route across Europe that existed only as notes in a phone. She hadn't asked Milo to come. She hadn't asked him not to. People thought 19-year-olds wanted chaos. Rhea had started to understand that Milo did not. He had come from chaos. He wanted proof that doors could close without locking him out. She loved him for that, and feared him for that. Because Rhea had spent her whole adult life escaping places other people called stability. Her friends had settled down, then quietly disappeared into calendars. They bought houses, then complained about them. They had children, then loved them so fiercely that every conversation became smaller and more important at the same time. Rhea did not despise any of it. That would have been easier. Sometimes she even envied them. Sometimes she saw a woman her own age carrying a tired child through a supermarket and felt a strange, little ache she could never quite name. Then she would hear about another concert in another city, and she would breathe again. The line moved forward. A little, then stopped. Milo looked at the club entrance. Finally he asked,
"Do you ever get tired of waiting in lines? Of leaving?"
Rhea looked at him. Not angry. Not surprised, as if she had been waiting for the question. Milo looked at the ground.
"I think I'm done sleeping on other people's floors."
Rhea looked at the crowd.
"I think I'm done sleeping in the same place."
People think young people want freedom. People think older people want stability. Life rarely respects these little stories. Rhea spoke quietly.
I was always afraid I'd become somebody's mother before I had the chance to become myself.
Milo nodded.
I never really had one. I was curious what it might feel like.
There was no accusation. That made it worse. People around them would have misunderstood everything. They would have seen a woman refusing to grow up and a boy too young to know better. They would have missed the truth. He was not asking her to become ordinary. She was not asking him to remain wild. They had simply reached the same crossroads from opposite directions. Then the doors to the club opened. The crowd began to move. Music poured out into the street. Milo looked at the crowd moving toward the doors. He smiled for the first time that evening.
Come on. Let's not miss the best part. Rock and roll.
People think that enjoying someone's company is the beginning of a love story. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is only a shared season. A few trains, a few concerts, a few conversations that stay with them for years. And then life quietly asks them to walk in different directions.